The hum of the engine was a low, comforting growl in the dead of night. Rain lashed against the windows, blurring the city lights into a watercolor mess. I was the last one to board, just as the doors hissed shut behind me, sealing me in with the rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the track. The carriage seemed empty at first, just a long, fluorescent-lit tube of worn seats and sticky floors. I slumped into a chair by the window, my reflection a tired, ghostly image against the dark, rushing landscape. After a few minutes, I noticed I wasn't alone. An old woman sat a few rows ahead, her back ramrod straight, her gaze fixed on the blackness outside. Across the aisle, a young couple whispered to each other, their heads close together. A businessman, briefcase on his lap, tapped impatiently on his phone. A normal, late-night crowd. I closed my eyes, letting the motion of the train rock me into a half-sleep. When I opened them again, the businessman was gone. Just ... gone. His briefcase was still on the seat, but the man himself had vanished. I blinked, rubbing my eyes. Maybe he'd just gone to the restroom. But the train jolted, and as my gaze swept the carriage again, I saw the young couple was gone too. No goodbye, no movement. One moment they were there, whispering sweet nothings, and the next, their seats were empty. A cold knot of unease tightened in my stomach. This wasn't right. I looked at the old woman. She hadn't moved. I cleared my throat, my voice sounding unnaturally loud. Excuse me, did you see where those people went? She didn't turn. It was as if I hadn't spoken at all. I stood up, my legs feeling shaky, and walked towards her. As I got closer, I saw it. Her skin was translucent, like faded parchment, and I could see the patterned seat fabric right through her frail body. My breath hitched in my throat. She wasn't real. None of them were. Panic began to bubble up inside me. He spun around my heart, hammering against my ribs. The carriage was completely empty now, save for me and the spectral old woman. I rushed to the door, connecting to the next car, yanking on the handle. Locked. I tried the other end.
Locked.
Locked.
The other end. Locked!
I was trapped. I banged on the window, shouting into the night, but my voice was swallowed by the storm. My reflection stared back, its face a mask of terror. Then, I noticed something else. The train wasn't slowing down. We were hurling past familiar stations without a pause, the signs just indecipherable blurs of light. The familiar city map above the door was gone, replaced by a single, unlit line with no stops marked. Where was this train going? The thought hit me with the force of a physical blow. They weren't passengers who had disappeared. They were memories, echoes of people who had ridden this train before, fading away as they reached their final destination. A soft chime, like a wind chime in a gentle breeze, echoed through the carriage. A voice, calm and ethereal, announced, "Next stop, the terminus. All passengers, please prepare to disembark." It wasn't a mechanical voice. It was warm, almost welcoming. T. Terminus. There was no station with that name on any line I knew. The old woman in front of me slowly began to fade, her form dissolving like smoke until nothing was left but the empty seat. I was the only one left. The last passenger. The train began to slow, not with a screech of brakes, but with a gentle, smooth deceleration, as if it were gliding into a cloud. Outside the window, the rain had stopped. The darkness gave way to a soft, pearlescent glow. A fog that wasn't cold or wet, but warm and inviting. I could see shapes in the mist silhouettes of people waiting on a platform that stretched into infinity. They weren't rushing or anxious. They were just waiting. The doors hissed open, not with a familiar mechanical sound, but with a sigh. The air that drifted and smelled of nothing and everything at once, of ozone after a storm, of old books, of a memory you can't quite place. This wasn't a station. It was a gateway. And I understood this last train wasn't a part of the city's transit system. It was something else entirely. A ferry for souls. I was still alive. My heart still pounding. My palms still sweating. But I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that the only way off this train was to step onto that platform. I was the last passenger, but I wasn't meant to be on this journey. Not yet. I backed away from the open door, pressing myself against the far wall, as the chime sounded again. The terminus. All change. Please. The silhouettes on the platform turned their heads in unison, their featureless faces looking not at the empty doorway, but directly at me. They knew I was here, and they were waiting. The doors began to close, slow as a dying breath. Primera held my own, praying they would shut before one of those figures decided to step aboard. The gap narrowed, the soft light from outside shrinking to a sliver, and then darkness and the familiar rumble of the wheels. The train was moving again. I was alone, hurtling through the night, a living man trapped on a ghost train. I didn't know where it was going now, or if it would ever stop at a real station again. All I knew was that I had seen the end of the line, and I was still riding. Thank you so much for watching. This story was a chilling ride, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a favorite ghost story, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe, and maybe take the early train home.